Ah, yes, the Backburner. It's one of the weapons that is a straight upgrade to the stock, and in my opinion, if a weapon is an upgrade to the stock it is considered an overpowered weapon, and it's hardly used for support. In this video, I'm going to talk furthermore about this weapon stats, and why it is a straight upgrade to the stock. Without further ado, let's start. By the way, this video was a recommendation from this guy in the No Rebalance video. Before I'll start, I need to mention what is the difference between the rework, the rebalance and the overhaul in my videos. The rework is a process where we completely change the weapon's playstyle in order to make the weapon more reliable than its current state. However, the rebalance is just a slight modification of the weapon by just removing or replacing a stats from a weapon. And the overhaul is where we change the playstyle or stats of a group of weapons. But I will cover more of the overhaul in the near future. And now here are the weapon stats. 100% critical hits from behind. Extinguishing teammates restores 20 health. Plus 150% air blast cost. Okay, so the main ability of the weapon is that it can deal critical hit if the enemy was burned in the back. So you are like a spy, but you are ousting the enemies first then killing them. And plus 150% air burst cost, which is not really a big downside. Why, you may ask? Sure, your airblast limit is shortened to 4, but you can refill your ammo with ammo box, dispenser, and carts, which the ammo is not really a big problem. Overall, not a good supporting weapon, and flanking is hard for a pyro. Sure, with the new thermal thruster it is possible to flank, but making the weapon only dependent to the new thermal thruster to flank, which is not a good sign. Other weapons like the flare guns or the shotguns will not be as reliable to pair up with the Backburner. How can we make this weapon good for support and help a pyro to flank? Well, here are the new stats. Deals an explosive burst of flames if ignited from behind, causing an afterburn. Extinguishing teammates restores 20 health. Airblast will create a smokescreen. No afterburn. Note, you can still deal afterburn if they are ignited from the back. Plus 100% air blast cooldown. Plus 50% air blast cost. So let's first talk about the explosive burst of flame stats and what happened to the critical hits from behind stats. Well, crit is good in all, but it's not very effective against experienced players. Yes, once you burn them, they can instantly turn behind and destroy you. If we want the pyro to be an effective flanker, it should deal a burst of damage instead, slowly roasting the target. And this is the effective solution that I could think of, is borrowed from the Dragon's Fury. If you ignite an enemy from the back, there will be a sudden explosive burst of damage that deals 90 damage to the target, and if the target is near with its allies, the explosion will damage to the nearby enemies, will deal 30 damage, and cause afterburn. As what it said in the description, if the enemies are already on fire, the flame burst will not occur. I cannot think of a good way to make the weapon reliable for support without being affected by the air blast. Decreasing the air blast cooldown or increasing the air blast cost will greatly affect the supportive capability of the weapon, which is bad. And this is where I got my idea of a smokescreen, where it is good for support and help the pyro to flank. And as for the smokescreen, it is not official or being made by the TF team, and it is solely just an idea. The smokescreen will create a black smog, causing both enemy and your teammates are unable to see through, which is good for supporting your team by blocking the vision of the enemy snipers or other long range class, and good for escaping for danger too. Note, The smokescreen will not affect the sentry gun's range or vision. The smokescreen can extinguish teammates if they pass through, and the flames from your weapon and the enemy cannot pass through or burn enemies behind the smoke, just to avoid being harassed by the pyros. Note, bullets and projectiles will not be affected by the smoke, which flare guns can still pass through, and the smoke will only last for 3 seconds, which the first second will complete see-through. Second will slowly fade, which is slightly see-through, and the third the smoke will be slightly visible, just to avoid polluting the environment. Yes, this weapon will be eco-friendly. Just kidding. It's just to avoid lag issue of the smoke particles, and you can still reflect projectiles or push enemies away. Also, it has a slower air blast cooldown, which it takes 1.5 seconds each air blast, and it had a 50% increase of air blast cost, which your air blast cost 30 ammo. Overall, the weapon still stick to its name, but it has a new playstyle which will be reliable for supporting and for flanking. Now the weapon can deal massive burst of damage to the enemy as well the nearby enemies, but now you cannot deal afterburn if the enemies is not being ignited from the back, and its airblast creates a smoke screen that block the vision of the enemies, but it has a slower air blast cooldown. As well increase the air blast cost, which each air blast can only last up to 6. Well, after all of this, it's just my opinion, and that is all. Thank you guys for watching this video, and do let me know if you think this idea is balanced or not. Tell me down in the comment section below, and tell me if you had any suggestion on what weapon I should rebalance next.
Oh, I forgot to mention that I finally received a microphone. So in the next video, I will not rely on the robot voice. So goodbye, Daryl. Except if I get lazy and all. And that is all. Goodbye, guys.